It would probably be intimidating for you, Eric, because I'm pretty sure Ryan hates you. Like it's not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure.
He does get on the broke agent a lot, so I don't know.
There's no chance he does. Tell me that's not true.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Today we had on Sean McPeak, a super successful luxury broker with Serhant. He talks about what it's like working with Ryan, why he throws these timely theme parties at his listings, how to get leads on LinkedIn, and the strategy he uses to get influencers, including a dog, to make his listing videos go viral.
The Broke Agent presents Over Ask Podcast.
Sean, thanks for being here, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I was on your podcast. What did we come up with? WoHo Boys, right?
Yeah.
As a new neighborhood. So Eric, I was on Sean's.
Yeah, we did.
I was on Sean's podcast. Eric didn't get the invite clearly, but that's fine. That's probably for the best. But Sean, let's get into this because you have we've been researching you all day. You were showing apartments all day. We were literally just lurking you all day.
We were in the lab. We had whiteboards. We had, test tubes and everything. I actually flew to Canada this week so Matt and I could prepare for this podcast.
Sounds like an awesome fucking day to me.
And then flew back to not do it with him. But yes.
So, Sean,
for the poutine.
Can you poutine's fantastic here. But can you give us your background? You started 12 years ago?
Yeah, like 2009 I started.
Okay.
Right in the middle of the meat grinder. Yeah.
Right after the collapse.
Yeah.
And
I answered a Craigslist ad.
Actually?
Yeah.
What's with everyone and Craigslist? Tyler Whitman had a similar story. What okay, get into this. What happened?
I was working at IT and tech support for a software company, and I was doing work from home before work from home was cool. And it was just miserable. I wanted to be in sales or marketing, but there were no jobs. Like job market was totally fucked in 2009 when I graduated college. And every entry-level position was like 40, 50K. But if you take a job like that, you're kind of like pigeonholed into like that like lower salary bracket and like perpetuity. So I was just like looking to get my real estate license in New Jersey, which is like primarily where I grew up. And then I just started watching like Selling New York, HGTV. And I was like, well, what if I just started working in bigger price points in real estate and made more money? And then, I just answered a Craigslist ad. Shop was like total boiler room, chop shop. We're making like fake Craigslist ads, getting rental clients, taking them out 3 at a time, open listings. You get like a 1 month commission from the landlord at that point when the market, was so bad. And that's how I started, just scamming people, man.
Sweet.
Just scamming people? That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
as he's in his client's house right now.
Yeah, that's great.
That's so good.
So like what you do every morning, you get like a broker blast with like the cheapest rental possible, and you would make ads off that price, and you'd post it on Craigslist at like, morning, lunch, and then after work were like the sweet times. And then you just like try to get as many people as you can, and 75% of them would screw you over, and then 25% you would close, and then the landlord or your brokerage would screw you over. So it was insane. Okay. But it was fun.
So once you stopped scamming people and you really took this, start taking this real serious.
I never said stop. Yeah.
So were you with Ryan right away, or how did that all happen?
No, I worked on the Alexander team when I met Ryan. So that was like, when I graduated into like a bigger brokerage like Douglas Elliman, I worked downtown, and then we started like interacting with Ryan in like 2011, roughly. I think like right as like $1 Million Listing was kind of airing, and he was really cool back then. I had a lot of respect for him because he pulled us aside and was like, "Hey, I'm here to do deals like don't pay attention to like the drama on the show. He's like, that's not, it's just TV and like da da da. So like he was always like cool like that off camera and like easy to work with. And so I kind of knew him from a long time ago, and then I just linked up with him in 2020. So,
oh, really?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I thought you were with him at like Nest Seekers and stuff.
No, I would never worked on Nest Seekers.
That part
wow.
was left out of our research. Actually, that's the one thing we missed in our days of preparation.
I mean, I think a lot of people assume like a lot of us at the brokerage, but I'd say the majority of Serhant, the brokerage now, is non-Nest Seeker alumni. You know.
So you came so he opened the brokerage and then you joined.
Yeah, he and his team reached out. I was like kind of leaving my other brokerage and was about to sign with somebody else. And they literally got probably in like my 30-day buffer of leaving my other brokerage. They stepped in and reached out directly. And and then I sat down with Ryan and we had like an hour conversation. He didn't look at his phone once. He knew like everything about me. And I was just like, yeah, I'm doing social media and film too. And you have like a staff that's amazing. So, you know, our businesses were very much aligned. And it's also great not being his competitor anymore because he freaking crushes everybody.
Was that an intimidating interview process sitting across from him? Like, did he ask you any intense questions or anything that threw you off?
No, I probably got more intimidated like after it. I probably went in like a little, like just a little naive. Because I never really understood the scale of what he had going with like the sell like Serhant stuff. And like when I started working through that stuff, I was like, oh damn, this guy's like a total mogul. No, I went in there. He, you know, his head of new development, I went to college with her. So like we've always had an awesome relationship, and he just knew a lot about me personally, which I was like impressed with, you know. And even when people ask me for interview advice, I always say like research your company, research the person you're working with. And even real estate, it's about the people, not about like the real estate. And, you know, he just kind of exemplified that. And I was like, damn, this guy like really gets people.
Yeah. What about when you're in the office and he's, you know, perusing around? Do you feel like a lurking heavy presence? I just felt like when I was in my offices and there was like the big broker walking around or something, I always kind of like tightened up a little bit. I got a little tentative.
Nah, man, it's just like, I mean, for me, I mean, maybe for some other people, but no, I mean, he's like so normal with us. It's not, I don't find it intimidating. Maybe I'm a little naive, I don't know, but like we're working deals and stuff like that together. So it's more of like a working relationship, and, you know, we're still sort of like the same archetype of person really. So it's like not like, there's not like this massive disconnect between him and me, you know, so.
It would probably be intimidating for you, Eric, because I'm pretty sure Ryan hates you. Like it's not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure. He
does shit on the broke agent a lot, so I don't know.
There's no chance he does. Tell me that's not true.
I'm fucking with you. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm just trying to let out my insecurities here. You know, if I was around him, maybe that's how I would act. So I was trying to pin that on you, but you know.
Right. No, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's unconfirmed, but I'm pretty sure he hates your guts, but that's for a different day. Sean, did you already have your team when you joined Serhant, or did you like build it a lot once you joined?
I brought a team over from my old brokerage. I've been operating a team since 2014 when I was at Compass. And yeah, we came in, we had like 2 younger agents, and then I had Jordan March, who works with me. He's like effectively my 50-50 partner. And, you know, he has more experience in real estate than me. And yeah, so we kind of ported the team over, and we did some deals and some new developments. And like the COVID market for us was the opposite of what everyone else experienced all over, you know, North America effectively. So like we were like really fighting to like put together some deals and stuff like when we first joined. So yeah, it was good to have like the continuity of my team. So yeah, so we kind of came over.
Okay, so what's your team at now? Like you do a lot of new development. Is that like your bread and butter?
Yeah. I love new dev. It's like my passion. You know, it's like like follow-ups and stuff. It's like hungry hippos. You're getting like so many people, and like you're just trying to like see who you can get to commit and like what their objection is or whatever. You try to like get into like their motivation and then just try to close them on like whatever they want to hear on like a new dev. So I love new dev. I love selling townhouses in Manhattan. It's challenging. The owners are typically a little crazier than an average owner, I find. Yeah. I kind of get volunteered to like work on some of like the tougher deals. Like the one I'm sitting in right now is a pretty challenging apartment. It's been on and off the market for 4 years. So kind of came to me and I got an offer. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
How do you go after?
Man.
How do you go after new development listings? Like, what's the process with that to find new developments and pitch them, and what's your marketing behind them?
So, I mean, a lot of it's relationship building and just trying. Like, the developers are kind of the opposite of like a normal prospect, and where they want to see like aggressive follow up. Like, they want you to annoy the shit out of them, and then get to know them, and then schmooze them, and then eventually sign with them. So it can be like a multi-year process to get a developer with multiple projects or whatever. So it takes time, typically for like the bigger development companies. And then like, they have to like see your marketing. They want to know what you sold. And then they ask you to bring a buyer, like every FISBO or anybody that drives you crazy asks you to do. So it can be a bunch of those things that goes into it. We have like our own pitch decks and videos and stuff we kind of privately send over in order to capture that business, like on my team. So we kind of like try to separate ourselves from everybody with our like own decks and marketing and everything.
What did you do to get the first one? Because like, how do you get the first one when you have nothing to leverage?
Yeah, that's the going from 0 to 1 is probably the hardest part. At first, I worked on a big team. So we had like a 3-unit development on the Upper East Side. And then I went to Compass, and then I started like pitching. I kind of lobby my company internally typically. Like, my specialty is expire listings and stuff that isn't selling. So I've just kind of ported that over to new devs, and I just take over like the hardest, shittiest situation and then just make it work. That's kind of like what I've always done. And then, yeah, a lot of like every company I've pretty much gone to has given me a large project that's been struggling. And then, that's, it kind of sucks because it's like you're volunteering for the hardest thing, but at least you're getting something,
How do you specialize in struggling properties? Like what are you gonna do? So this right here has been on the market for 4 years. You now have an offer. So what did you do differently than the people doing it for 4 years?
I mean, we do better overall marketing. I mean, a lot of it is just mistakes in the marketing and the transparency and the information in New York. There's a lot of due diligence that goes into this stuff. But I mean, like now with Serhant, like we're hitting it with like a ton of video, social media influencers. We had some kid come in here and play the piano. He has like 3.6 million TikTok followers. We have Cash Jordan, who's like, some of our videos with him and our outside our listing videos get 1 million+ views on YouTube alone. And then like his TikTok and Instagram are big too. So we like to flood the zone with like every property and just try to find someone that can kind of like help us, make content around it. But like it's the floor plans, photography, it's being responsive, like novel concept, answer your phone and your email. We put a bunch of people on the listing. So we show 24/7. Like we almost say no. We never say no to a showing if the person's qualified. So we're just like ultra flexible, and sometimes you're just fighting mouse clicks. It's like, it's that fast. Like someone will just go buy something else out of convenience. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to like just bend over and, miss your first kid's birthday and stuff. So yeah, you got to do crazy stuff in order to make it work.
So you mentioned that you're using influencers with large followings to promote your listings. So did you pay this piano person to come and then like tag your listing and promote that it's on the market, or how did that work? Walk us through that process.
No, typically not. It's more like horse trading. Our listings are like pretty awesome. And like a lot of these influencers like don't really know how to get access to stuff like this. And they also kind of like value the Serhant relationship. So most of the time we're not paying. We're usually horse trading or doing something. Like we try to help them out. I mean, Cash Jordan has been like our main dude. Like he comes and does all our listings, and he doesn't charge us, but his views go crazy because like YouTube is his full-time job now. So his he's usually doing like really shitty apartments, like rentals in the city, which are like ridiculous to look at. But then he comes in and he does like, $15 million house that's like totally tricked out, and his comments go crazy and his engagement goes up and stuff when he like kind of switches it up. So, they benefit as much as us in that regard. But we've had people ask us for money. I mean, like there's certain situations, like a new development, we might pay a couple people to make some viral content if like they can prove it goes viral. We'll do that. But you guys know, like social media influencers, some are like full of crap, like they don't respond or they have fake followers or whatever. So you got to be like careful if you're paying somebody.
Yeah, we just did that for the first time at one of our listings. It was this big high rise right beside Scotiabank Arena where the Toronto Maple Leafs play. So we got clients of mine run like one of the biggest hockey podcasts here in Canada, and we got them to do like a live podcast there, and the response has been incredible. It's super untapped, at least here, and I would think what you're doing is kind of ahead of its time right now with like doing that with the influencers. I'm sure some people are trying to tag along now, but it seems like you were kind of first to bat at that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's a lot of the reason I joined Ryan, because it's just like so much freaking easier with this guy, and like he built out like a multi-million-dollar media marketing machine that we can just tap into. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for years. I mean, I won an award in like 2018 or 19. I sold an apartment with like a French Terrier, like a Boston Terrier influencer dog. And like the whole listing video was just a dog. All the photos were the dog. It went viral, like what I consider viral back then. And like we sold the apartment off the dog's Instagram, you know what I mean? So like I was doing that on other people's channels.
The dog's name was Rude Boy, correct?
Yeah.
I looked up Rude Boy. I couldn't find him. I don't know if he's still around or not, which actually got me down a sad thought process of what happens to dog influencers, after they pass away, or just, dogs in general. But so what did the dog like post on its stories or feed? Like, did it actually talk about the house and talk about like you as the agent? Like I'm trying to figure out that connection between just filming it at the house and then how it goes to your marketing.
So Rude Boy's mom is like super off camera. Rude Boy is her moon and stars. And if there's a problem with Rude Boy, I probably need to give her a call to see if she's okay. No, I mean, like the dog was like, what? The apartment was like totally fucked, actually. It was like a really messed up, like one bedroom that was above like this like crazy gay bar that gets like a lot of like police reports against it and the complaints. So it was like, and then next to a fire station. So it was actually like, we took the dog and we just like did like the East Village, which is like very interesting. We kind of tried to like draw attention away from the actual unit. And like, we just kind of made this like marketing piece and like not, because if you walk in the apartment, first of all, like it was like borderline hoarding issue going on. And the day we showed up, the apartment was a mess. And we were like, what the hell are we going to do? So we just shoved everything into a bedroom and just kind of shot the living room with the dog. And then we're like, okay, we'll just take the dog and we'll just like, took it to see the firefighters. And like, we took the dog to Boris and Horton, which is where we met the dog. It's like a dog cafe. With a ton of dog influencers that hang out there. And, it was just basically a giant smoke screen of marketing. It was basically like, don't look at this, look at the dog.
They're just smoking cigarettes at the bar.
Oh yeah, worse.
Talking about how much money they're getting paid to show property. By the way, I don't know if they have this in New York, but they have something here in LA called WAG Hotel, which is essentially the Soho House of dog parks. We're members. Yeah. This is the most incredible place on earth. It's just a bunch of dogs and like they're super attractive owners and there's coffee and cocktails and everything. And it's like the best networking place known to mankind.
There's so many questions I have about this.
About WAGs?
Yeah. I mean, like it's LA. So it's like, is your dog vegan? No, like, sorry, you can't.
Yeah. There's a very intense screening process that you have to go through. It has to be vaccinated multiple times.
Do they do like lip injections for dogs and stuff? Or like, how does it work?
Exactly.
No, but
only golden doodles.
Yeah. Your dog is pretty like posh though, Eric. He's a very model-esque type of boy. Yeah.
I wonder if this influencer route would work for other agents in places that wouldn't be New York or LA. Obviously, New York and LA, there's an abundance of people with large Instagram followings and brand deals and stuff like that. But if you're an agent somewhere else, I wonder how you could tap into other local followings, right?
Yeah, I actually taught classes on this at my old brokerage. You could. What a really easy thing to do is incorporate like restaurants with like decent followings near your listings. Different stuff like that, like even like high schools, like sports teams. And then like there's some people that just kind of create their own little following, then because they do like gardening or something, or they like have an amazing like skill for photography and they do like nature photos or something like that. So there's like a couple different avenues, but you got to be a little more resourceful. And then obviously like your reach is not going to be as potent, but you can be more targeted. And even if you have like 1,000 followers, you can make a lot of deals if you're active enough,
Well, it's probably a lot easier now than when you started doing it with like the rise of TikTok and all that stuff. Like it seems like everyone somewhere could have some type of following that you could source. When you were probably starting to do it, it was probably like few and far between people who actually had like real deal followings.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing like the Instagram thing in like 2011 or 12, and like it took years for it to really hit critical mass. We're like, okay, this is like an effective thing, and mostly it was young people on the platform, and then those are people that don't really buy property in New York unless they're getting money from their parents. But when they introduced like stories into Instagram, they kind of like ported that from Snapchat. That's when like the the demographic actually got a lot older. And so people can like keep up with their grandkids or their kids, and they don't have to like bother them, but they see them what's going on in their lives every day. And that's where I found like 2016, 17, where like everything started like really getting like notched up, and like you're actually doing deals off the gram.
Yeah. I love this, and I tell this to people all the time, like the fact that you're so not just listing heavy, but you're so focused on like the marketing of it and the digital marketing of it to be like this is like the Super Bowl of our industry, our listings. And like the fact that no one or so many agents like just like throw up some pictures and they're done with it. It's like this is a chance for you to leverage this and get so many more video listings from what you do on this one listing that you have.
I know, and they're all case studies. I mean, like, and it's not like you have to like spend crazy amounts of money. I think people are getting like way too caught up in like the production now of like, I got to get a videographer or whatever. Like, just keep it simple, like keep it simple at first, do some volume, figure it out. If you make 500 videos, you're an expert in videography and production, like editing. So if like you actually practice it, and like, yeah, I mean, I'm that way. Like I never started building my personal brand until I started working with Ryan, like really like laser focused on like, what is my brand? I was always just about like heavy listing marketing. And like, that's where I kind of what I got known for. When I entered like the personal branding stage of it, that's where like both things started kind of growing in unison, So, yeah, I mean, I love it though. I mean, like it makes it fun for me. Like I do a lot of art staging. I have a big thing with an artist coming out tomorrow, some big press and stuff. And it's like, that's fun for me. Like having like awesome artwork, meeting cool people, meeting weirdos. Like, I don't know, like it just makes like the day to day, like way more interesting, and just like charges me up every time I get to do something special for someone's home.
I saw you did like a Web3 NFT open house that you were mentioning on some podcasts. Like what exactly did that look like?
Everyone stop for a second. This market is a little bit tighter than it has been in the past few years, which means leads are not necessarily banging down the door. But you know who isn't worried right now? Agents who use BoomTown, the #1 rated real estate CRM in the game.
That's right. BoomTown, it was actually founded in 2008, Eric. Do you know that?
Yeah, the same year the Phillies won the World Series against the Rays. How could I forget?
I'll take your word for it. In the middle of a housing crisis, their CEO, Greer Allen, built it from the ground up with the explicit intention of empowering agents to be successful no matter the market. So if you're ready to build a truly bulletproof business, visit BoomTown, ROI.com/overask. Plus, see how you can score 750 big ones in free digital advertising. That's BoomTown, ROI.com/overask.
So one of my artists, I stage a lot of homes with his art because it's like super colorful and fun. he started like killing it in NFTs. And I wanted to integrate NFTs and like the crypto craze into my marketing at some point. So we did a huge open house for like an $8.8 million house. We set up a projector with his NFT gallery. And so it had all his NFTs like basically playing on a loop through like this digital gallery projected on like in like a room we had in the house. And like 150 people showed up, which is like more than triple what we were expecting. And all different people showed up just to like learn about it. You know, we had real estate developers, buyers, brokers, like all different types of people. A bunch of NFT kids showed up, like super like deep NFT. They own like the original cartoon rock, like those type of guys, like super OG. And it was just insane. Like no one's ever like invited an NFT crypto community into a piece of high-end real estate before. It was basically what they were saying to us.
That's brilliant, because the whole perception of what are these NFTs actually going to look like when you have them, you know, downloaded on your phone or whatever, like how are you actually going to display it? And then you actually showed people what that looked like. So I think that's a really good idea. I feel like that wouldn't land as much today as it did during the NFT craze, because now everybody is like, well, NFTs are scams. So hosting an NFT house probably wouldn't have that same momentum or feel that it did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get someone like really big. I mean, to me, the NFT thing was always more of like, how do I sell real estate on the blockchain instead of having like a deed and title insurance and all this stuff? Like, what if you just had like a digital wallet with that type of, you know, verification of the asset? That's where I was going with it.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wanted to see it go, but like the actual artwork, I wasn't like really totally sure about. I think it's good for like a certificate, or like if you want to license a piece of artwork out, that's cool. But like the actual JPEG, like I think we found out, right? We know our answer.
Those themed open houses are such a good idea. Like you get so much press from those. We did a cannabis open house once at this house in the valley, and had all these different stations of edibles and smokers, and we had you know, like reggae music. Like there was probably 150, 200 people there at this one also, but just the amount of marketing you get from that, and just the way you could promote it, just like come to this house and basically get high. And it was like one of the most successful campaigns. It wasn't my house, of course. I was just, you know, in charge of the marketing for
Eric,
it, but it was really cool.
You can't count parties in high school as like listings and stuff.
Right. Actually, it was my house. It was my parents' house. It wasn't a listing. And this was actually me just smoking in my bathroom. So I don't know where I got that idea.
Hotboxing.
Yeah.
We did a masquerade open house at one of my listings at 845 UN Plaza, and we had like all these like reality TV people show up. It was crazy, and we got press off it. It was great. Like I had to like pull people out of closets, like making out and crap. Like it was
Yeah.
Masquerade party, very sexy, very dangerous.
All right.
Owner was pissed. You know, the next day he actually at 7 a.m. had a painter in there because there were smudges on the wall at 7 a.m.
Shit.
God.
This shit though is so like cool. Like this is what I think agents should be doing, and like this age. Like I don't know if you like watch TikTok, but like the other day I like really got on this like, I don't know how the algorithm like constantly changes. I got on this like crazy trend of just like people hating on real estate agents and saying how useless we are, and I was like, oh my, like I didn't realize how bad like people hated us, but like, you know, we have to show our worth, and those kind of things are the things that do that. And like be creative with it. Like that's what's cool and exciting to me about this industry.
Yeah, I mean, I probably hate real estate agents more than that. I mean, I probably have better reasons than any of these people on TikTok. You know, it's like the level of stuff that goes on in New York. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's these tools are amazing. Like, and yeah, the theme parties, everything. Like, I love throwing parties. It's like a natural gift I have is like to throw ragers.
Just so you know, this is confirmed. Look it up. Weed Open House 2019. There was CBD massages. There was a bunch of stations, cannabis plants, and MLS photos and everything. So it was really exhibiting.
I remember it.
Lifestyle. You do remember? It was Ben Bacall's listing.
Oh.
I remember it because you know, I was working at like a way older stodgy company then, and they like threatened us not to try to like copycat it.
Right.
Oh, was it Compass? Because Compass
like,
fired Dave Ferrugio for being naked in his listing.
I mean, Ryan, got a TV show for doing it, and episode 1, $1 million listing. So
Right.
hey, tomato.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, but the genius thing about back to your NFT thing is you just capitalized on it when it was so fresh and so new. And that's what
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds did. Do you remember that campaign he did after Peloton got all that shit for their commercial? Ryan Reynolds
it was a day after, right?
like a day after, came out with a full campaign and commercial for his, I think it was gin or something. Like
Mhm.
that's the genius in this type of marketing. Like it's legit.
Yeah, I mean, he does it better than anybody right now, right?
Yeah.
Because he has like this full digital marketing company. He picks up a brand, he blows them up, and then he spins it off, right? Like, have you watched his documentary?
Not
Welcome
yet.
to Wrexham?
I really want to though.
It's like 15 episodes. I mean, like if you have time to binge something, like definitely check that out. I mean, he made more money off the documentary than he did the soccer team, right? So, and then he's like spin off Mint Mobile went for 1.3 billion. The Aviator Gym went for like 610 million. I mean, like, that's kind of like what we're doing right now, right? But we're trying to do it with property. So we're trying to like use our digital marketing tools, be quick, catch a trend, and then like really try to, blow people's listings up. And like, a listing for us typically gets a few thousand clicks or views on our listing. But then, like the listing I'm in right now, I mean, it's gotten hundreds of thousands of views on a piano playing TikTok. It's like, that's kind of like what we're going to do.
Well, the thing is about this is like, I feel like, and Eric and I were talking about this another episode, but people are so concerned about saying like, these are the hardwood floors and this is this and this is this. But like, right. I feel like if you use the house more as an accessory and you're just kind of there, like you just want the eyeballs and then you can have all that other stuff somewhere else, but you want that catchy, engaging video up front. So people will be like, oh, the guy's playing piano. Oh shit, this is like a sick property, and then it's like, it kind of, you catch them that way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we always like try to like tinker with these listing video formulas too, especially in like big units. Jordan and I, we do like both of us in a listing video now, and his listing video engagement goes nuts on the Serhant YouTube page. If you check his videos out, he's got like fans. But like we have this bit where like I always put him in like the tub of like the bathroom. I'm like, get in the tub, and that's like kind of like something we've been toying with. But like, yeah, it gets boring just like doing regular listing videos. And like, you want to keep people engaged. You want to hook them at the beginning. You want to tell a story if you can. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Like you can have fun with it. But I think a listing video should also inform the buyer, it's really a closing tool, even though we're using it to capture eyes. It really should be like something someone watches like right after they walk out, or it has the ability to train the agent on how to sell the house to their buyer too. I think is also like a little bit you want to work in there, but we do multiple videos on all our properties. So we can we kind of try to get both. And just depends on the property type, but I agree with you, like having like a super catchy, fun, story driven or comedy driven or something is, as long as it gets it, once you hit a certain number of views, like, the property is going to sell at this point, in my opinion.
The trend jacking events, we always talk about trend jacking on social media and how important it is to use themes from holidays or anything like that. But doing it at actual events, like when you're at a listing presentation, you could look forward in the calendar and be like, yeah, we're going to do a Kentucky Derby one this Sunday. We're going to do a Mother's Day themed one. I don't know what you could do during the summer, but around like any holiday or anything that's going on in pop culture, you could have a Little Mermaid open house, since that's popular right now. I don't know how you would do that necessarily, but I love the idea of just trend jacking opens.
Really stretching. Yeah. Grammys and Oscars would be cool ones too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other?
Eric, don't you think?
No.
Oh. All right, I thought that'd be cool.
You've spat in the face of every idea I've had on this podcast, so no. Grammys and Oscars, absolutely not. Horrific idea.
I said I said that Wags was cool, and I complimented Miles. So
yeah, exactly.
I complimented your son. That should be enough.
Do you have any other listing events coming up where you're doing something like this?
Yeah, so I'm listing this like crazy rental in Soho. It's like a bunch of office space, an apartment, and then like a private roof deck, and they're all on like different floors. And we're gonna do like a VC founder happy hour and invite like all like tech startup people or like big venture capital guys who are part of a club I'm at called Spring Place. It's almost like a Soho house, but it's more like business oriented, and networking is encouraged. So we're going to put together something with like there's a bunch of record studios like built into the loft as well. So we're gonna bring in like a bunch of like, we're gonna have like a industry music party, and then we're gonna do like a VC founders party, and just like get a bunch of these like individuals kind of humming in the space. And we know someone will take it because it's like super prime Soho, but it's just like a really interesting kind of like, just kind of like collection of space on different floors in like this commercial building. It's really funky.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have targeted at every event that you do? Are there targeted people that you're inviting, or is it like sometimes an open invite, or how do you do that?
Yeah, it's both. Like I like to have like a target of people. If it's going to be like a real estate open house, I also like to invite like a bunch of regular people that aren't in the industry. And I feel like once you like kind of mix just like the brokers with like actual people from New York or like people that go out and have fun or like whatever, you get like a real party vibe. And then people are like, this is like the best real estate like open house I've ever been to, and like sometimes like I love to be targeted and not go too big so I can like interact with people meaningfully. But I like to just kind of mix the real estate with like the actual New York people, because then I feel like people stay longer, they get a good vibe, they meet somebody new, they have a good conversation that's like not about work. And that's where I kind of feel like some of my parties like are like pretty dynamic. It's just like a good party. It's not like a real estate party. It's just like a really good time for everybody.
Yeah.
How much money will you throw into something like this?
I get a lot of sponsors, like we get solicited by a lot of mortgage, lawyer, title, whatever. One of our title guys has like 9 restaurants or whatever. So like he can hook us up with like a bartender and, some food and stuff. So like, it just depends. We'll be throwing some money at some events this year, specifically out in the Hamptons. Like we're going to be donating to like a LGBTQ charity and doing like a kind of art event thing, with the Hamptons Fine Arts Fair founders. So, we're kind of like, we're budget conscious, just depending on like, the property, the ROI, stuff like that. We're kind of cautious, especially now with the market slowing down a little bit. Like, you got to like save money for like staging and some other like actual marketing stuff. So it's like a composite. I mean, the great part is we don't have to rent space, right? So like that's pretty budget friendly.
Yeah, I mean, you're using your listings for everything. You're, filming this podcast right now in one of your listings. So
yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get married in one. Yeah. You're gonna get married in his next one. Is Serhant having that backing just of the brokerage and that name? Is it easier to kind of get into certain things? 'Cause I know for me, the agency, sometimes, if people know what the agency is, it's a great tool to like
100%.
Get some of these things. Yeah. You've seen the same.
Yeah, 100%. I just read Mauricio's book too. It was great. Yeah, I mean, like, and now they're like, the whole family's on reality TV, and, I watched the whole Buying Beverly Hills thing, and I thought that was a very positive representation of the brand and the family, and I thought it was, it wasn't like super dramatic or anything. It wasn't over the top, but it just seems like a great family run business. My perception was extremely positive. So I'm sure like once that hit, I'm sure that even more so you're feeling the effect of the brand kind of opening doors for you. So yeah, Serhant, like 10X's, my legitimacy in the market. Like I've been doing the same thing as him for like 10 years, but the scale and the tools and the resources are now amplified. So, they know a little bit about me, they know more about him, but when they get to know me, like they see that like I'm leveraging every little bit of like the Serhant kind of network as, to benefit them as much as possible. So,
right.
I always wonder with your listings and anyone else on his team, who gets to collab with like the Serhant account? Because I see the Serhant Serhant account collabing with yours a little bit and then other agents on his team. So is that a decision beforehand or is it based off of the actual content?
It's just based off the actual content and like what we're aiming for, and like who's featured in a video. And we'll like request like a little collab post or something like that. It all just depends. Like, like I do a lot of the videos, personally, because like a lot of listings, like if it's my contact, they reach out, like they're going to want to see me in the listing video, but we try to get our agents on listing videos as much as possible. Just depending what it is, and who the client is. But my motto is like, if you're just a normal person, like you can't build your brand through listing videos. That's like auxiliary to like your actual like personal branding, unless you do like the most amazing listing videos. But like a lot of people are not actors or trained like that. So it's like, don't be like so thirsty to be on a listing video. It's not really going to help you grow your business necessarily.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of them out because I suck at listing videos.
So I also heard that you get a lot of business on LinkedIn, and this is something that Matt and I and Bam have not done a great job at. So what's your like posting strategy for LinkedIn, and what sort of clients are you attracting from it?
So you're going to get like more serious people on LinkedIn, more developers. I mean, there's definitely a lot of professionals out there that use LinkedIn like, you know, your aunt uses Facebook, right? Like they're very like up and down 24/7. I'm in my LinkedIn. So you get some more serious people like that. In terms of like, you know, the reach, I mean, it's a way more organic algorithm. Your video or your post on LinkedIn can go way further, and they're not really asking you for money for most people. So it's not like a Facebook or something where they blunted all the growth years ago. LinkedIn, your video content should be tailored to it, but it'll go way. I mean, like you can just LinkedIn connect people all the time and build your connections and whatever, and then your video will actually get to those people for the most part. So if you're going to do like the more serious broker market report stuff, like that's the place to do it. And if you have something interesting, you know, that revolves around other businesses and your business, like the LinkedIn is like a secret weapon. Like a lot of people are really sleeping on LinkedIn.
And then they just reach out to you on LinkedIn, or are they reaching out to you after they see it through LinkedIn? Like, are they just
they'll email?
Messaging
Yeah, they'll send like a link. Yeah, they'll do a message or like an email or something like that. I mean, I use it for prospecting. In Outlook, there's like an automatic LinkedIn kind of connection thing. So I'll just click on people's like email and just look them up on LinkedIn a lot just through the Outlook app. So it's also good for research and like just kind of, and when you Google a lot of the top buyers that come to our listings now, the first thing that pops up in Google is their LinkedIn profile.
right?
So, you know, LinkedIn is, you know, people, I think he's the older and like more serious kind of agents, you know, maybe people not like in our kind of like age bracket, or, you know, maybe, you know, we're more like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But if like you have an agent that is crossing over from industry, you know, whatever, they're in textiles, they're in tech, they're in banking, they should be hammering LinkedIn. Like they shouldn't be trying to become a TikToker, you know?
So you just cold messaging a bunch of people on LinkedIn also, like, you know, looking up their jobs, seeing if they're working at a specific area or in a specific area that you think would attract that right clientele, and just shooting them cold messages? Or are you like, what's the strategy?
Not typically. Not typically. We do a lot of skip tracing. So like we'll look up people's emails and phone numbers and stuff, and then we'll look them up on LinkedIn, and then we'll try to see shared connections. And if it's a really good connection, maybe we'll try to have like a little warm introduction. So it's a little more indirect than just hitting people with cold DMs, because I get flooded with LinkedIn messages all the time. People that want to like have a digital coffee or whatever. It's like nonstop.
What's a digital?
So like,
what's having a digital coffee? What the hell does that mean?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just sit there
Sounds
and
horrible.
email each other back and forth.
I don't know how many LinkedIn messages you guys get, but it's like super lame.
I don't even ever go on it. I went on it when I was like applying to jobs in 2010 or something like that. But other than that,
2022. Yeah.
other than that, I don't even touch it.
Yeah, I mean, like you shouldn't either. You know, I think it's good advice for some people, right? Like Bam is not like a LinkedIn viral type of thing on LinkedIn. People on LinkedIn,
Whoa, Eric, he's coming
No,
at
I
us.
see what he's saying, but like Gary Vee does always talk about, like, from, you know, a content point of view, that you can get so much more organic reach. So we do have a bunch of serious articles on BAM, like breaking down the actual market. So I feel like it would be a good place to post from there. I'm just thinking, like, the average agent listening to this, should they implement a LinkedIn strategy? It sounds like they probably should.
Well, my partner Jordan has like almost 17,000 LinkedIn connections, and what he started doing was writing weekly reports on how Eric Adams, Mayor of New York City, was doing, and then people from his campaign and Eric himself has like reached out to us, like thanking us for like, you know, giving him like a fair shake on his article, on his LinkedIn articles. Like, we, you know, tag Eric Adams and then his people read it, or he reads it. So like, it's a lot more powerful and potent than these other platforms in terms of visibility. And there's also a lot less noise on those platforms at the same time, right? It's like people don't want to embarrass themselves in front of like their employers and bosses. So like, you get less of like the hate comments, less of the heckling, stuff like that. More of like the inspirational, like kombucha before 7 a.m. posts, like
God.
a little like kind of stuff, you know, some of it's corny. You know, so you know, LinkedIn, I think it is a really good solution for a lot of agents, and they should lean on it heavily, especially if they're older or they're newer to social media, or they had a previous career. I think it's really potent. I wouldn't cold DM people. Like, don't send out 1 million of those. I would get a little deeper with it and take your time a little more.
Yeah, I think the warm introductions is a really smart move. See who else you're connected with and have them reach out. That's a really good idea. I would just go on it and just add people's emails directly into my database, which is completely illegal, but just grow that list by any means possible. I did that once, like early days of Broke Agent. I don't know if I told it on this podcast, but I literally would Google, where I would just go on like the Compass directory or the agency directory or Hilton and Highland or Keller Williams. And I was just copy pasting emails directly into my database. This is like 2015. I was just sitting in a coffee shop being like, how else am I going to grow this list?
Illegal or genius?
Exactly.
And look at them now, folks.
Exactly.
Today on my live, someone said the broke agent's not broke anymore, I heard. And I said, no, he's not. And they said he's rich.
That was me commenting from another account, from the BAM account.
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn, I've heard for so long, is such a great tool to utilize. I have one.
It's not for everybody, though.
Yeah.
You know, neither is Instagram or TikTok. Yeah. It's like, you know, be yourself. I think it's like, you can't be like some contrived personality and try to like take over a platform. Like, you should just play to your strengths and not try to like, I think the biggest mistake I ever made in real estate with my personal brand was trying to be too serious, you know?
Yeah.
So I would advise people to identify what you're actually going to like kind of stick with and be good at, rather than just like try to start this whole new thing.
I agree. What is, and we're almost done here, but I'm just curious now. What is like is there anything you can't do at Serhant? It seems like Serhant has done everything, like been naked in listings. Like, is there anything you run by him where it's just like, he's like, whoa, you can't do that?
So anything you run by him? Yeah, there's certain things. You know,
does he show my videos and say, just don't do any of this?
Yeah. No, I mean, does he anything? No, I mean, like, I think a cannabis party would probably be a third rail here. I think that would cause a little bit of electrical fire. I don't think they'd be cool with it. You know, stuff like that. You know, Ryan has a very clean brand reputation, so deviating like way too far from that. But you know, also we're like kind of like, you know, we have like a little reality TV kind of flavor to us too. So like kind of being kind of loud and controversial can also be viewed as like a positive thing potentially. But I think we do want to have a business and like a respected company, and you know, we want our knowledge and our kind of business to be like, you know, legitimate at the same time. But we could be fun. We could do whatever we want for the most part. It just has to be like tasteful and well produced if you're going to take a risk.
Yeah, because he has gotten, I've found, kind of edgier. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like even with his, like, he'll swear, he'll like, it's like a little edgy sometimes.
Yeah, he went from like PG to like PG-13, and you know, we're kind of pushing to go rated R because those get the best ratings, right, in the movies. So, you know.
Well, yeah.
I think you're going to see a little bit of a new Ryan soon. You know, He's like CEO, like he's super nimble, man. He's evolved incredibly, man. The guy's, I think that the most underrated part about him is like his ability to like crunch knowledge and, you know, real estate. I mean, I like just one-on-one with him, like I think the most intimidating thing about him, if you want to know, is like how fast he can process real estate information, is like really impressive. So.
Does he have some sort of deal right now with Succession? Because he's posted like 3 or 4 times with the Succession theme in the back, which is perfect for those listings he has. But I'm wondering, is like HBO paying him to like, you know, slyly promote it?
You know what I thought when he posted that? I went to go watch it that night, and I was like, this guy was on Succession last season. He has to be, right? Like, I was like, why are they sending him like a goodie box or something? Like, what's his deal with HBO? Right. That's what I thought. I don't know. It's like, you know, it's like when 11 opened, when 11 opened in the strip club in Miami, they send everyone like packages, you know, like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, who knows? I thought he was going to be on the episode for sure, but I don't know for sure.
Perfect example of trend jacking right there is just having the Succession theme in the background of all of his incredible listing videos. So he's doing a great job at that as well.
Well, Succession's been jacking our stuff because all of like the top penthouses that are on the market have been featured in Succession episodes, and a bunch of them sold, like the Woolworth building. You got 200 Amsterdam. So that like really gives like gravitas to listings apparently. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, those are your listings, like Serhant's listings?
No, they weren't. Did we do one? I don't know. I have to check. We did one, but it's really like new dev listings, like super high end new dev, like 20 million plus listings. And the Woolworth one sold like immediately after, and like the building took off because that building was dead for like 3 or 4 years in terms of traffic. And then after the Succession thing hit, they just started like popping off. So I think there's actually something to it.
I bet that's pretty epic.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. I'd want to live in the Succession building.
If you were a character on Succession, who would you be?
I'd be Kendall, because everyone keeps saying I look like him.
All right.
I don't know. I'd probably be Logan Roy, the CEO.
Yeah, right.
The all-knowing.
You're Roman, man.
Decision maker.
Oh,
I know. I was thinking Roman. I just didn't want to say
it. Yeah, I apparently look like Kendall.
I'd be Tom.
Roman's.
Oh, yeah, Tom. Yeah, I get that.
They're all just such great characters. Although in Logan's death, it's kind of hard to just watch them try to figure it out on their own. Like he brought so much energy to the show. I just loved every scene with him, and now it's just like watching all these kind of morons scrambling around to figure it out.
I haven't gone that far, but thank you. I kind of
everybody knows that. If you're watching this at this moment, that's
spoiler. Sorry, folks.
Secret.
And they all have like British accents or like Australian accents. Like barely any of them are American. It's so weird.
I know. I saw. Yeah, even Shiv. Shiv is Australian, I think.
Yeah. Dubs TF, man.
Yeah.
They're good ass actors. I mean, the whole thing, the production, all of it. I'm a big Billions guy too, and that's like right on Billions level to me.
I haven't seen Billions.
You should check it out if you like Succession. Yeah. It's a little more edge, a little more Wall Street. Yeah, the production is insane now. So
I'm in.
Nice.
I'm in. You sold me. All right, well, Sean, thank you so much for being on here. I'm gonna come to New York soon. See you again. We're gonna have Woohoo Boys Part 2.
Yeah, let's party.
Yeah. Where can the people find you?
You can find me at SEN Sean _McPeak on the gram. You can find me on Serhant, LinkedIn, Sean McPeak. I got a little TikTok going. Don't really pay attention to it much, but you hit me up on anywhere, but mostly Instagram. That's like the best way to find me. DM me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Instagram. DM them. You can chat about masquerade parties.
Yeah. Send me some funny memes. Let's see what you got, you know?
All right. Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on, dude. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's an honor.
Thank you.
Honor to be with you guys. Have a good one. All right, fellas?